Hi, I'm Stacy Jagger. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and registered play therapist and the author of A Letter from Emma. An acquaintance of mine reached out to me and asked me if I would be willing to work with an Amish family. What happened was 9 of their 12 children had been sexually abused by an Englishman that weaseled his way into the community and tricked many children. When I started working with the family, 9 of the 12 children, they wouldn't even leave their homes. Many of the girls wouldn't get out of the bed. They were extremely depressed. The man is now in prison, but the girls were court-appointed a male therapist. So the girls wouldn't even show up to their appointments, but they were in desperate need of help. The most difficult part, for the girls especially that had been abused, is that the Amish had this kind of thought process that God was going to send them to hell for what happened. Forgiveness of this person that had hurt them for so long came much easier than their ability to wrap their heads around a gracious, loving God who was so heartbroken over what had happened to them. And I think my favorite part of the time that I spent with them was this opportunity that I had to help them see how grieved that the God of my understanding felt over what they had suffered. The thing about play is it's a universal language with children and families. One of the first activities that we played together were dominoes. And what I noticed was the family, they were so full of shame that they couldn't even look at each other in the eyes. And I was making up interventions on the fly based on what they needed. And one of the interventions that I did with them was a game that I called Don't Blink. So I had the whole family, I think there was 14 of them in my group room, and I had them standing face to face in line, kind of like a square dance situation, but I wasn't teaching them to dance, I promise. So they were looking at each other in the eyes, and I said, whoever blinks first, that person has to take a step back and the other person has to step forward. And then we would change partners. And the whole reason behind the Don't Blink game was because I noticed that the whole family had stopped connecting. They had stopped having connecting conversations. They had stopped really looking at each other. And just the laughter that came from the Don't Blink game started to lower their anxiety and increase their ability to connect. One of my favorite sessions, we did what I call Color My Mountain. And I simply talk about how we're going to climb a mountain together, and we're going to start at the bottom of the mountain, and we're going to talk about what it's going to feel like at the top. And I'll draw a mountain for them. They'll pick out a color for happy and sad and mad and worried and scared. Then they'll color in their mountain of, as they're climbing this mountain with me and with their family, what does their mountain consist of? How much of their mountain feels happy? How much feels sad? How much feels mad, worried, and scared? And then I'll pair them up and have them switch their mountains and talk to each other with active listening. This is what makes me feel happy, and this is what makes me feel sad and mad and worried and scared, and on and on. And what I found with the Amish community is from the time they wake up until the time their head hits the pillow, they're working. So to have an opportunity to play dominoes, the Don't Blink game, Color My Mountain, was an incredibly healing experience for them. It taught them how to have more connecting conversations through play. So this book came about because this family asked me if I would create a resource for the community to have a book they could read their children that was not threatening to them, but that could help to warn them of what could potentially happen and how to prepare for a predator and how they can better stay safe. So I wrote the book through the voice of an Amish little girl, and she is helping us to be smarter and wiser and helping us to find a road towards healing and wholeness. The book is really a launching pad for families to have connecting conversations and difficult conversations about what can happen in the world. As a therapist, it's really important, I think, to have an open heart and an open mind to what this community needs and believes, and you meet them where they are without any agenda of your own. And through that, connection happens, and really the connection is everything.